All right, it's 4:15. We'll call the meeting to order, and you bow your head, I'll lead us in prayer. Lord, thank you for this time together. Lord, be with us, each and every one that are here today as we attempt to conduct the business of the county and the folks in our communities that we serve, Lord. In the words of Reverend Brown, keep us together. Amen. So, I believe we're all present and accounted for. And the first item on the agenda is the minutes from the June 28th meeting.
I do have a correction.
Okay.
On item Q, on the third page, the Union Ridge Waterline Extension, it said it was sent to the commission. That didn't need to go to the commission. So, and I talked to Mr. Gallagher about it, so.
It was handled, it just didn't require to go to the commission.
That's correct.
Are we in agreement with that correction?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is our monthly report, solid waste.
The materials are in for the new floors at the convenience centers. So we're just waiting on the flooring people to schedule time for them to start. And thanks to Duck River Electric, we've got the new LED lights up at the centers. They are really great, right up the whole area. We had to go back and adjust one because it was shining in this lady's house. So we've got that corrected. New hours are posted for all of the centers, 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Those times do not go into effect until August the 1st. And just as a reminder, El Bethel, Tollgate, Unionville will be open 6 days a week with the same hours across the board. The other centers will still be closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're running ads in the newspaper, Good News, Shelbyville Good News, and the Bedford County webpage about the changes. Solid Waste had a booth at the fair with promotions and information about recycling and our new hours. And we will also have information about our hazardous waste event, which is actually scheduled for the 24th of September at the Ag Center from 8 to 12. And Linda, don't get too excited, but we are looking at plastics recycling again and maybe a glass pilot program. Fiscal year end and quarterly reports are attached. Recycling revenues for April, May, and June were a total of $71,176.30. There was actually 4 payments, 4 checks that came in on the scrap metal on that. That's the reason that's up a little bit. And the savings versus going to the landfill was another $5,000. So, and for our 6 months in this current year, our revenue for recycling is $106,722. So we're moving on pretty well on that. There's also a page attached that gives you the totals for the fiscal year of paper and newspaper that was collected, batteries, metals, all of our recycling materials are listed on that back page. 1,189 tons is what we did for the fiscal year. Any questions?
Are you burning that oil? Somebody burning that oil?
I don't know what they're doing, they just pick it up when they carry it to the.
I'm sorry, where does the oil go? Oh, the oil goes to Knoxville, and it's actually recycled. They put it into some of the materials. But we are no longer having to pay for that right now. It's at zero cost. It was 30 cents a gallon, but right now, there's no cost to us on that.
I'm excited about the new hours. I think everybody
I am
is.
too.
I've heard lots of comments and questions about it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And the 2 other main active sites will be 7 days a week, which was Tollgate and Unionville. Is that right?
6.
6 days.
6 days a week. That's right. What did I say? 7?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mind's somewhere else.
We won't be there on Sunday.
Yeah, let's not be there on Sunday if we can help it. But anyway, so that's good news too.
I have a question about the cardboard. Are you gonna redo those compactors?
We're looking at that right there, but TDEC has opened up grant opportunities that we might be able to get funding, 100% funding for that. So we're checking into all these avenues now since TDEC has opened up the funding now for all that. So we are in the process of figuring out what is the best for the county to go forward up to that point.
Great.
But we have the old ones that we potentially can retrofit,
Yes,
but
yeah.
there is a cost involved in that. That's
Yes.
why we're trying to see what our
And there
options,
may be new
technology is.
technology that's
Sure.
cheaper
Yeah.
than what we have. Awesome.
Any other questions or comments regarding solid waste? Glad to see that we're able to make some improvements, obviously with the population growth and just the amount of consumables that COVID really shined light on. It was important to make these upgrades, and I appreciate Mark and Diane staying focused during that time to get that done for us. All right. Next is HR.
Yes, so you have included in your report the personnel numbers and the statuses for the month of June. In regards to job postings, just a few updates. In regards to the AP clerk position at finance, there's an interview scheduled for that. The deputy position has been closed to new applications, and they're working through the interview process on that one. There's been one offer extended and accepted for juvenile detention officer, so we still have a few slots, but we do have one of those filled. We are in offer status for the IT position. There was an animal control part-time receptionist position that rolled in that wasn't included on here, that's also already closed and been filled. We did add back, that's not included on here, the dispatcher communications for the sheriff's department. We did extend 2 offers for that position, and both of those were declined due to pay. So we put that one back out and are still seeking applicants interested in working with us on that. So in regards to active and ongoing projects, just a few that I'll speak of. This is the time of year where I have Title VI surveys that I have responsibility for filling out for multiple agencies that we partner with. So departments that get those are good about forwarding those, and I'm working out all the Title VI. I've also been partnering with Motlo and MTSU on a Reconnect grant opportunity. So departments will start hearing from that on employees who may wish, who have currently don't hold an associate's or a bachelor's degree, but would like to do so through a faster path to get an associate's. It kind of depends on what type of professional growth and work service that can be converted over to education credits. It's a fast track to get an associate's degree and even a bachelor's degree. So we do have some interested employees. I'm starting to kind of get the word out, and some of the departments that are here will start hearing about this opportunity. It's really, really good because it's no cost to the county for the partnership, it's no cost to the employee, it's paid for through the grant. So we're working with Motlo and MTSU on that, and
What about flex time, if they're working, and a department can do, hours so that they will be able to go out there?
this is an online.
All of it's on.
Some of it's online, yes,
they don't have-
so yes, it's not cumbersome with their job. Their requirement is a minimum of 6 hours, which is essentially like 2 courses a semester. So we have some that have enrolled in the associates that will receive an associate's degree within their emphasis area within 12 months. And that's a 24 months. So it reduces, and it's an incentive to stay and use your time banked here with the county and your longevity to be able to advance your personal goals as far as your education is concerned, and how that works with your skill set and your job qualifications.
And I'm
things like
assuming that since we've got the job descriptions, they know what positions that they then could
Yes.
be vying for.
Right, that they would be eligible and qualified for. And I've also spoken with Motlo specifically because when they first started this program and were working through the state funds with the grant, it was mostly like general business studies. But I really talked to them about what some of the areas of emphasis probably our employees would most benefit from too. So it's a perfect opportunity if some of the employees want to reach out to me that you all hear tonight, but I'm planning on reaching out to each department and putting that out there. I'm also in the process of updating our language interpretation services through our Title VI. So the Tennessee Language Center has partnered with CTAS. And they offer their staff through a grant at no charge to the counties to update their Title VI, and all the departments would be working if they needed interpretation services. They would be able, once I give them this phone number and this code, they would be able to use it at no charge. So currently, there's like a small charge to the county. If a department needed to utilize services, we would go with CTAS and the Language Center at no cost to the county for as long as this grant stays in place. They offer over 60 languages, I believe, that they will provide language instruction. So like even staff members can take language classes online. I'll give every department a QR code and update all of our Title VI. But then there's also on-site interpretation online. And what I'm most excited about is they will also work with our departments on converting over any of our forms to the required document language that it's most emphasized in our area. So that's exciting as well, that we would have that tool at no cost to the county, and it would benefit all of our citizens in our community. So I'm going to be sending information out about that as well.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Just to refresh your memory, also in this new pay model, there would be some incentives for your degree as well. So we encourage people to continue their education, to better themselves, and to bring more value to us here at the county as well. Hearing none, on to the next one is archives.
For this last month, we've been working, continuing on the record center, and I'm really excited about the air conditioning. It's work's been running. Next will be some more shelving that we had on a grant process to get them up and installed. And we're moving forward on the records that need to be preserved for the sheriff and for Tanya's trustee records. And now with the move of planning and to the courthouse, they found a lot of records that are long-term and need to be preserved. And so we're going to shift them in. So we're gradually getting to everybody who needs some space and get those records into the new records building. So that's been a good thing. We're still working with Shred-it on secure disposal, particularly this last month with the sheriff's records that can be disposed of with the help of Nakia, and also juvenile detention. Those are really secure records that need to be carefully shredded, and I've been working with Kelly on those. And so we've had a lot of interesting researchers come through, a little bit of touring of the courthouse. People are excited to see the courthouse. I know Mark likes to know interesting researchers. Yesterday was a fun day. Yesterday I thought a researcher wanted to know about Civil War maps for the city and the county towards the west, and no, as it turned out, he brought in a cannonball. He brought in a cannonball, and the chunk of wood that he brought it in was a good 20 inches broad, but where he'd been splitting it, and the cannonball smack in the middle of it. It's one of the smaller ones called Grape Shot, but still, he was excited and he wanted it to go to a museum. But I was the stopgap measure to keep his wife happy, and it's gone from his house. So, but it is a cannonball nonetheless, from probably about the time of the skirmish on the courthouse. So, any questions?
And while Donna's here too, Carol, the license fees are not gonna impact our archives fees coming in.
You're talking about the discounts on renewals? No, that's only on renewals, and the archives fee is attached to title transactions, new owner changes. So,
That's good, because, yeah, we were talking about it. I got to see the cannonball. It was kind of interesting. It was in a big piece of wood that had been split, and there it was. So, yeah, neat things.
In your office, right?
No, it's not in my office, not at the moment. I hope.
Since it was military, we left it down in the veterans
Oh,
office.
There you go. Yeah, so they can have flashbacks when they see it. All right, up next, if no other questions, there is architects, and I don't know if the school superintendent has got anything she would want to say. I know your projects are progressing, but.
Yes, community, we have equipment on the ground, so that's good, and we are still in the design phase of the new elementary school, Cartwright Elementary. We're working to try to keep our costs as low as possible there and reduce where we can, so we're still in the design phase.
I would like to add to that, we've signed the construction manager for that project too, the elementary school. And just to note, we've got a 70-30 savings. If they come in under contract, we get 70% of the savings, they get 30. So in the past, some of them were like 50-50, so we negotiated that with them.
Any other comments or questions regarding architects? All right, next would be monthly reports.
Okay, you've got a copy of your June financial reports, and this includes all the receivables and payables. So it kind of gives you an idea how we wound up with the budget. And the next
These
thing-
are all year end.
Yes, these are year-end, and it has not been audited, so there's possibility of some changes due to that and reclassifying items. On the property tax collections, as of June, we collected $800,000 more than we collected the same time last year. Prior year collections, $253,000 ahead of the same time last year. Clerk and master collections were $48,000 less than the same time last year. And sales tax collections were $1.5 million more than the same time last year. So that's kind of the update on the main property tax and sales tax collections. The next item is juvenile detention. We've got a final report. We have a loss of $179,000 for the year. And on traffic school, we have had a profit of $68,000 for the year. So that's my report. If anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, any questions on that? All right, other monthly reports, I believe that's our EMS guys.
So, this year we finished up our collections. We ended up at $1.8 million. We ran under $8,000 for the year. We still maintain our response time of 5.5 minutes in the city, 10.4 in the county. We still have 4 open paramedic positions. We had one of our EMTs that has just graduated paramedic school and passed his national registry test. And we just started a new EMT program. That's all I've got for you. Anybody have any questions?
Questions for our EMS folks?
How many are in the EMT? How many are in the EMT program?
7.
That's right.
That's new class that's going now?
Yes.
And you just graduated out?
4.
So you're constantly just turning over class after class as best we can to
Yes.
continue to feed the system. All right, any other comments for EMS about that? Guess we need a motion to approve reports.
We've got quarterlies.
Well,
That's
so-
okay.
Under, where, is that you? Are we up?
G.
Quarterly financials.
Yeah, the quarterly report's the same information as in the monthly. It's just summarized by quarter. And in this case, year end, and this one does need to go to the commission.
So now we're ready to approve reports and specifically send the final quarterly to the commission.
That's
Okay,
correct.
so is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Roll for discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Up next, okay. Under the county, this is budget amendment number 1. Now, this is the, Lori and the finance department, Robert, myself a little bit, spent a lot of times trying to get these numbers laid down into the proper structure to reflect amendments that would allow the model as presented to go forward if this body and the commission approves that in August. So it's a lot of information. Robert's right here with it, and
Okay, the county part of the amendment is strictly the salary study. Nothing else is in there. The green paper is the roads, the highway department, and he is moving some of his money from the account we put the money in for the tax rate over to use it in the road construction. So that's the difference in the two.
so if we can get a motion second, we can discuss, or what a motion to send it to the
Send
commission.
it to the commission. And since it's not complete, right, or
It's complete,
everything's completed?
Everything's in
Okay,
here, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
right? Everything's in here that reflects what the model.
What the model
Yeah.
does, but Lori's not quite through.
No, we're
right?
through.
Well, you're done with everything.
Finished today.
Today. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's a lot of
When I
information.
last checked.
Yeah, I mean, this is down to the last few minutes.
Okay, that's great. I make a motion to send it with favorable recommendation.
Second.
All right, we got a motion second, now we're open for discussion. Now, keep in mind, there's 2 weeks before the commission will meet, so certainly you'll have more time to study this. It is a lot of information to look at today, and I mean, I don't mind it recessing or
How
giving
will
time.
it be, how are you gonna present it to the commission?
At this point, it's ready to go as on the agenda.
As
and
this?
yeah, correct, and there'd be a motion and a second, or to accept, defer, whatever they're gonna do with it, and then it'll be open for discussion.
The book that we got, Chad, was not complete, so.
It did
where-
not have every
everything.
department.
Okay. Will
but-
there be one of those somewhere?
We can do that, or
I'm
we
not saying
can,
make one for everybody, but at least where it would be.
yeah, or at least the scales for each of the departments would reflect here. I don't think I gave them scales, but I gave them scales for where I had the other supporting documentation so they could follow it. But we weren't able to get all the departments in the book, and so help me
Well, just
understand what
think
you're
about it.
asking. Okay.
Well, for those that weren't in attendance, and there weren't many commissioners not in attendance that
Agreed.
night, but there were some.
And some have come got their books.
Okay,
too.
good. And maybe just something complete as I don't know, spreadsheet or what was done, or you had each department in that little book, an
Correct.
example of it. So I guess what I'm asking is for each department have something like that, so it could be seen, available at your office, not having to run off one for everybody.
Okay.
But if anybody wanted to come by and look at it, it would be a completed study.
Yeah, and we should be able, upon request over the next 2 weeks, any specific piece of information that you would want, we should be able through finance to get that particular document to you. Is that, are we saying the same thing? I don't want to, but we'll make sure that.
Well, I mean, I thought the plan that you gave, I even texted you that I thought you did a good job.
Thank you for that.
That pained me.
I appreciate that.
I thought it was very comprehensive, and I think it is a plan, and that's what I think all of us are wanting, is a plan that works, and it feeds off of what Mayor Ray had envisioned, and I think started long ago. It just could never get to that point on it, so I hope, and hope everyone's pleased with it, and I think it's very good.
And again, what I'd like to thank you for that, and we got the motion in a second, we're still having discussion. Any commissioner or body that wants to contact the office, whether it be finance or my office, we'll be happy to sit down with them with any of the particular department that they would want to have a question about. This amendment document it models just like every amendment document we put forward. It will then place the money in the appropriate lines to be spent.
Right.
And so it's really technically two different things, but we can't go forward. This is absolutely the commission's part to say yay or nay to. Once you approve this, then that would infuse it into the individual budgets where it could then be exercised, the model that we put forward. You agree with that? You agree with? Yeah, and we have met with all the departments, so they are familiar with what this model looks like and how it will affect them. But I understand what you're saying. You may have individual commissioners that would want more specific information in a particular area. We're happy to provide that.
That little book that you gave us,
Mhm.
I'd like for there to be one available with each department.
Okay, I can do that with some
Okay.
samples. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can go in and build out, because I want to have that anyway. I just hadn't had time to finish that
I'm not saying make all
one.
of us a copy.
Right, but we got it, and we can make it available. Yeah, no problem, I can take care of that. I got 2 weeks to get that done. All right, no problem. All right, so we have a motion and second. Any more discussion specific? I'm happy to hear it. Like I said, this will give you time over the next 2 weeks to look at it closely. Please reach to the finance department or my office, either one, and we will do our best to clear up anything that looks like an anomaly to you or that would not be expected to look the way you're seeing it. So, all right. Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're on to the next item. That's big. All right, surplus property, Board of Education. I believe that document's in front of you, and I'm sure that the Board of Education has reviewed this and sent it with their recommendation.
Move to approve.
All right, you got a motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then next is early literacy, I almost couldn't even pronounce that, network contract for Board of Education.
This is a contract that goes beyond 1 year, and I'll defer any questions to the superintendent, because Zoe at the paper had asked me about it.
It is a grant, so it's no local money.
Okay.
It is directly from the state to improve early literacy.
So when we say early, is that like pre-K, or is that like first, second, third? What does that really mean?
Really pre-K to third.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, $40,000 a year is the grant for 2 years. So that's why this contract is 2
Yeah.
years.
That's fantastic, because I've always believed we should double down on early education. So thank you for finding that and working that through. So did we have a motion and second for it? We did, right? So any other
No,
questions?
no.
Or no question, okay.
No motion.
No motion. All right, so we need a motion to send this to the, all right. Second. All right, now we got motion and second. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. All right, so any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, great. Other business, we received a letter, and I believe you handed it out to you tonight when you got here, from the library thanking us for our contribution and commitment to the library board and the great things that they're doing there through the library system, so it's for your information. Yes, please.
And I guess this falls under old business. I think it was the June 14th Finance Committee meeting when I made the motion to utilize the EMA building sales funds in case the motion did not pass. And then at the last commission meeting, which I can't remember the date, I withdrew that motion since we didn't need that anymore.
Correct.
And it's my understanding, and I know Ted's here, that he's studying or working on
David Kitchen, not Ted, David. EMA building, emergency management building.
Yeah, but Ted is working on the shift amounts that if we went to another shift for EMS.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up. I needed to mention too, that at this time, it's certainly not, I don't believe that it's critical that we modify a schedule. They are here to talk about that if you want to talk about modifying the schedule, but I believe it would be my recommendation personally as the mayor to you is that we hold off on modifying the schedule, but that we go forward with.
But he's still gonna study it.
Yeah, we've got to have a backup, and we've got to look and see what other options are available, but it's not the ideal option.
Right, so right now, so this is what I'd like to do. And I feel it's something very positive. It causes me some loss of sleep at night with our students. I would like to use the funds, and it'd probably be about half of them, and I've asked Dr. Garrett to give me a number-wise in a second, but to utilize it to hire 5 SRO officers for the inner city schools, and help me, Dr. Gary B. Thomas, East Side, Aiken, South Side, and Learning Way.
But we don't have it yet, so.
3 of the administrators have bent my ear on this, and a good friend of mine, the Flat Creek Forum, reminded me that SROs are not the answer. But when I look at the Cam Farrells of the world, and Tracy's and Chastity's, and what they do at these schools that don't have anything really to do with their job description, and they are a front line, they're not the answer, but they are deterrent, and the parents that the administrators are having to deal with, by the time the city police can get there to help, they've already said their piece, made their threats, and are out the door, basically. And 4th and 5th graders now act like what I was used to with 11th and 12th graders sometimes. So I know we can't, Dr. Garrett, put the wing on Liberty to get out of the portables right now, but I feel like this is one positive measure that we can make for the school system. And I know, Robert, I know we've got to pay back. And Dr. Garrett, there may be some grants coming down the way that would help us with all of this. And I know that maybe there would be another one at Cascade and another one maybe at Community in the future. But if we could get these 5 in the city right now, I just feel like that is a very positive thing. So I just throw that out there tonight and ask that we consider that.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Using funds from the sale of the EMA building,
Yes.
correct? And understand that that's one-time money, but it would get us through this cycle. We
Right.
would have to have a solution 12 months from now, though, okay?
I'll
So,
second that.
all right, so there's a
And
motion
Dr.
and a second.
Garrett, do you have a dollar value
We put in our letter last time, 378
for
is
six,
what we,
right? That was for six, right?
that was for six.
So that's
I know it
60
depends on
61,000.
the level and experience of the SRO, definitely,
So it'd be about 60-something thousand each, right?
yes. Plus, we're looking at insurance and benefits, so we're thinking about 75 total apiece, something like that.
And how many are we starting with? How many was your motion to start with?
Five.
5, okay.
Yeah, because that's the old pay rates.
So, okay. So
And I know
5.
it's gonna be paid back,
Sure.
but, we've gotten one hurdle out of the way, and I'd like to get this one other one, and I've said, I want finance to talk about the budget all year long, not just April, May, and June.
We'll talk to it any day you want to.
I don't like to talk to you like that.
All year long.
I like story.
Well, all right, so we have a motion and a second, to.
I tried.
Fund 5 SROs using proceeds from the sale of the EMA building, which is in process. It hadn't been completed, but it's in process. And we all understand that that is one-time money, so certainly
And
12
Ted's
months from now, we
still-
would have another.
Ted is still doing his study and.
Yeah, we're still
thinking
working on
all of that, So
solutions.
we can incorporate it
Right.
within, if whatever we need to do.
Right,
this
and
year.
we've tried to make sure we have a little flexibility if we have to do something else, modifying schedules, that hopefully we can go to the next step on it. But it's a difficult situation when it relates to them. But I'm right there with them, and we're going to find a solution that fits them. And we'll come back to you when we figure out what makes sense, if what we're going to do doesn't yield what we're looking for, and we hope surely that it does. So the motion and second is to add SROs, 5 of them, to be distributed by the school system to the appropriate places using funds from the sale of that. So is there any other comments or questions before we vote on that?
I just want to say that I appreciate the efforts. There are parents that have called me that lose sleep every night because of the things that are going on in society that are out of their control, and they feel that this would be a great addition to have to keep our students and our teachers and staff safe. So I appreciate those of you who are working toward that.
The most valuable assets are kids. They're our future. So any other comment?
Well, this gentleman, that I think a lot of him. I love him to death. Tracy will know who he is probably, but he slipped me this letter that said that really the only way to stop all of this is for the teachers to be armed. So I called the mayor. And
Good.
I asked him, thinking back, and Josie, you know, regrets back there. Would y'all really have wanted me to be armed in a classroom?
No.
Just a ball bat. A ball bat.
I won't name any names, and I don't know if Ms. Shockey knows, but someone took a 2-liter and put it in chemistry class, and it might have exploded with the cap come flying past her head.
It is.
So no.
But at least this is a deterrent.
Yeah, no, I
A
agree.
major deterrent.
I agree.
I think it's absolutely a critical component at this time till technology or other opportunities to better combat this come along. It's hard not to argue that this would make a difference if we find ourselves in a emergency.
It creates a good atmosphere for the kids in school, knowing that's our officers there. It's psychological attached to give them a sense of security.
Yes.
And law enforcement is a friend, not a foe.
Right.
Despite what-
Officer friendly, officer friendly, right.
Absolutely. So, all right. So we got all in favor? Any opposed? All
This
right.
would go to the commission.
This is right. This was a motion to send it to the commission and to act on it. Last thing I have is,
I have something, Mr.
Oh, okay,
Chairman,
yeah, I'm
if I-
sorry, go
if I
ahead.
can.
yeah, sure, please do.
This committee worked very hard on our budget for next year, and it passed unanimous here. It was presented to the commission, on the 28th. It got rejected, which happened the first time in over 30 years that anything like that happened in our county. Now, in my opinion, what this did, it showed disrespect for this group of individuals that worked on it. It showed a lot more disrespect for every individual in Bedford County that owns property. And, Mr. Mayor, if this is the way we're gonna conduct our business for the county from here going forward, that we just bring things up on the commission floor and vote on them without going through a standing committee or being studied, I suggest that we dissolve all 4 standing committees. We're wasting our time and our effort. Now, a good team is a group of people that pulls together and accomplishes big things. Okay? When this team gets busted, everything slows down. You don't make as much progress because it's a little bit of trust that has got thrown out the window. And I strongly suggest tonight that the 18 commissioners try to get our team back together, work together, pull together, and keep everything transparent to where we can make Bedford County operate in an efficient manner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have to say right now.
All right, well, we appreciate your comments. Any other comments anybody want to make? I have one other thing in regards to meeting location, and Commissioner Yaki had mentioned at one time of potentially changing the time again. And that's been all over the place. We've been up and down about it. You may want to wait on that or defer another month. I envisioned that all the committees would meet at the courthouse going forward once the plan was in place. There was a little bit of confusion, and I don't mind taking the blame for that about tonight, and so we are here. The question is, would this body want to continue to meet here? I think Finance prefers to meet here because it's close to their data if they needed it, and I'm totally with whatever this body wants to do about the time you meet and where you meet. Is there any comment on that, or you want to defer it a month, or?
Well, I mean, I really had thought about waiting, but why not? We're doing everything else. I'd like to make a motion to keep everything at the courthouse, and I know for Robert and Lori and Kelly and them, it's a little inconvenient, but it's consistent with people knowing where meetings are, and also to change the meeting time to 5 o'clock like all the other committees.
Is there a motion to make the official meetings place at the courthouse and the time to be adjusted to be 5 o'clock?
I'll make a motion.
All right, is there a second to that motion? All right, I hear none, so the motion fails. All right, any other business to come before the Commissioner Gallagher?
Continue to be here, but 5 o'clock.
Continue to meet here, but 5 o'clock. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second then to continue to meet here at this location, Dover Street, for the Finance Committee only, and move the time to 5 o'clock instead of 4:15. All right, that's the motion, that's the second. Is there any comments, questions, anything anybody wants to say regarding that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then that motion carries. We'll be meeting here, and we'll be meeting at 5 o'clock going forward instead of 4:15. All right, any other business or announcements? I think we've done it all. All right, hearing none, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.